The trackers who had killed the serpent god, were they still here, raiding the temple? The egg told Eqqo. These frescoes tell of the coming of a leader whose voice was as strong as 100 bells. This was the beginning of your valley's decline. The raiders had thrown their spears at one particular wall. In the fresco, villagers were looking fearfully at a dark figure dominating them. "A dark god," said the Enkalal. Eqqo recognized the sound of the shadow's steps. "Don't let them take me," said the Enkalal. "It would be the end of everything." "These frescoes show the death of my brothers," said the Enkalal. "This has happened before. It will happen again." "Be very careful," I prayed at that moment, far from there, sensing the shadows gathering around my child. "These frescoes show the dark god's feast," said the Enkalal. "His appetite is infinite. He can devour the world." What we see often hides what we need to see. A useful symbol was hidden here. I felt a bit lonely with these shadows around, said the egg when Eqqo came back to pick it up. So, thank you for coming back. There's nobody here? Asked Eqqo. The monks abandoned the temple after a great misfortune, replied the egg. Then the valley's inhabitants forgot it ever existed. A door had just opened on a now familiar stone face. Far above Eqqo, a flagstone had just slid open. The Amlak Ebab, my father, sadly thought the Enkalal. His golden seal will show us the way. Another set of stairs presented itself to the pilgrim. You speak well for an egg, suddenly realized Eqqo. Aren't you supposed to be a baby? It's because I'm filled with wisdom. Eqqo was climbing up. This made a lot of steps, and a great void below his feet. Inspired by the Enkalal, my son was moving forward, carrying in his arms the future of the world, walking away from childhood. Far from there, his mother was wiping her tears. These stairs show the way of Kath, said the Enkalal. The thread leads the pilgrim to the sky, but it's a thread scattered with knots. Here's one ahead. This fresco, it seemed to announce something terrible, and yet the order of the skulls seemed to have a meaning. The 3 wheels represented cycles. The pilgrim had to align them in the right order to pass. I was confused. The lock was tangling the thread of my story. The knot in the thread came undone. I watched my son resume his story. I remembered. Eqqo's birth had changed my vision of the world. He incarnated the kindness of the stars. He inspired me. Here was the prison. The monks had dedicated their lives to protecting the temple. To punish those who threatened it was part of their mission. "Who does that breath belong to?" asked Eqqo. "To a sleeper who must remain asleep," replied the egg. Oh, Eqqo, how many times had I told you to always be careful? As if he had just dreamt of it. He was about to seize it. I had to act quickly. This unexpected consequence had just saved the Enkalal. The Enkalal said to the child, "We need to go quickly. The bell ringer is going to wake up, and he is here for me. He's the one who killed my father, the serpent god." Eqqo had never heard of such evil. He and the egg were now running away from a common adversary. For the first time, a threat was hanging over Eqqo's life. On him depended the egg's future. On them both depended everything. Feeling the child's distress, the Enkalal said, "Your mother may seem far away, but she loves you, and she's proud of you. Our journey is vital. You must keep your courage." A starry sky. My son was sleeping. The stars were keeping watch over him. He was dreaming of a doe. It was his favorite animal. Mine too. Eqqo was sleeping, and I was only realizing it now. I had created this story to be by his side again, but every story has an end, and that end would take him away from me again. Oops. Eqqo was sleeping like a stone. Eqqo didn't care for the egg. Actually, he didn't care for anything anymore. I needed to wake him up somehow. Part of this world, so an element of this world had to wake him up. In our valleys, does were maternal divinities. As mothers, we could help each other. bronze gongs of the Temple of Isa could wake up even the deafest souls. Eqqo was astounded by the size of the temple. Built by the architects of the era of Abat, our father's fathers, Isa had indeed no equal. But its wonders didn't only attract pilgrims. The abandoned lift seemed too heavily loaded to move. Eqqo had never felt the floor rise like this under his feet. Am I flying? He thought. Little man, you'll fly the day eggs can talk, said the egg. The temple was like a gigantic clockwork, which came back to life with each activated mechanism. I'm not afraid of the void, thought Eqqo, trying to get a grip on the egg with trembling hands. Had such a young child ever climbed so high? No child has ever climbed so high, said the Enkalal. The stars are watching you climbing up to them.